Miller Thyme. Dropping dimes, let's go. Say we need not go, so I need not say.
Miller Thyme.
Down on your goof ass, you don't bring my
can't be gone that long.
Looking for foundation.
Today we're gonna be reviewing this video of
bitch, you don't know your place, Nick, unless it's Zodiac.
Exactly?
No need to go to that. I throw your facts. Think abstract, you just whack. You too old for that. Take accountability.
The National Association
some things
for
you
Black
need
Journalists
to. New lesson learned.
Now Trump went down there. He was in Chicago, right? To see what was going on. They invited him, and he was pretty much in hospital territory. That's what we can see from this. But at the end of the day, this man just damn near got assassinated in Pennsylvania. So what the fuck is it for him to go sit down and talk with a room full of black people? The people in general. I see Trump really ain't too scared of shit. So we're gonna get into this and see what bro got to say. So let's get into this video, fam. Outside of that, I hope y'all been living well, fam. Treat each other well. Most importantly, yourself. Not overextending, not overexerting yourself, and just being fair, balanced, and all of that good shit. Well, let's get to this video, fam, and review Trump at the National Association for Black Journalism in Chicago. And keep in mind too that they got the DNC going down on the 15th or the 18th of August, I believe. So let's just see. He might sway voters the other way, but you know Trump always come with that truth. Whether you know it or not, he gonna put the facts in your face. It's up to you to research that shit to see what's going on. And let's get into this, fam. Let me make sure my audio is correct. Make sure y'all hear everything. Hold on. All right. Let's get it.
And have attended the NABJ conventions either as presidents or as presidential candidates in past years. NABJ is currently in conversation with Vice President Kamala Harris's team to schedule a Q&A either in person or virtually in September. As journalists, we use opportunities like these both to inform our reporting, but also to help voters understand the choices that they face in a consequential and historic election year. NABJ has partnered with PolitiFact to fact-check this conversation in real time. You can access that feed on social media using the hashtag.
Perfect. So we're going to fact check everything that Trump speaks on in real time. And let's just see how this goes.
Hashtag NABJ fact check. Again, the hashtag is NABJ fact check. We have a lot to get to, and we do not want to waste any time. So let's bring out the former president of the United States, the Republican nominee for president, former President Donald Trump. Mr. President, we so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And
Hey, he getting this shit off immediately, bro. Fuck is you talking about? We ain't pulling no punches, folks. Fuck is you talking about, fam? You ain't out there rallying for Kamala and shit. You ain't sitting here holding no fucking polls, no type of, not polls, but you ain't sitting here holding no type of events for Kamala and none of that shit. And even if you were, what the fuck policies are she running off of? What policies are she about? She's never talked about anything she was gonna do when she got in office. But we do know she's the border czar, which means that all these illegal immigrants that's been coming in over this country from insane asylums, from fucking prisons and all of that shit, have essentially been flooding America and taking all of the opportunity that we should have. And not only that, motherfuckers coming in and they getting these motherfucking benefits, they getting the fucking food stamps, getting checks and all of that shit from the money that we paying out. That's why everything is going up. It was this one video, this one lady from New York that had, she was on TikTok, I believe, and she was talking about how a foreigner had left a receipt in the store that was getting food stamps. On the receipt, it said they was getting 13,000. This 5 figures, nigga. 5 figures. 13,000 in food stamps. And they had about like at least $4,000 in cash on a food stamp card in New York, folks. So you know what I'm saying? How the fuck is somebody that's not even from this country able to get that shit, but the American can't, bro? This is the problem. This is why so much discrepancy, so much motherfucking despair in this country right now. But let's continue.
I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of
And the black folks fuck with you too, Trump. Don't get it confused. I don't know what the fuck happened and why all of a sudden everybody went from saying Donald Trump and all their rap videos and shit and saying Trump the man is that and the third back about like 10 years ago, at least 10, 15 fucking years ago, to all of a sudden, oh, he's a racist. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Y'all motherfuckers are just uninformed, just emotionally charged. Y'all need to calm the fuck down and do some goddamn research. That's your problem. You don't fucking look for anything. You just wait for that shit to pop up in front of you. Then you just roll with it. Why do that? He's a fucking goofy. Stop doing that shit.
this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs. Done so much, and you know, and I say this, historically black colleges and universities were out of money. They were stone cold broke, and I saved them, and I gave them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here, and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense. And then you said, you can't do it with Zoom. Well, you know, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom, and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late, just so we understand.
You was half an hour late. This ain't even no racist shit, and I know a lot of y'all are probably like, oh, that's racist, bro. More than likely, he has no fucking reason to lie about that. Let's see if she addressed that shit. But before we even get to that, bitch, you get the horn. You showed up late, 30 minutes late. CP time. Talking as I guess she didn't think it was that important to come out to be like, oh, okay, let's go ahead and show up on time and shit. I guess you didn't feel it was that important. And I guess you didn't think that he was gonna call you out on that shit, bro. Trump, he reveals everything that needs to be revealed, bro. And a lot of people don't understand what he be saying when he be making these little rally speeches and shit, because he actually talking about real-time shit that's actually happening, that's fucking the country up, which a lot of people don't seem to grasp and understand because we so busy looking at Real Housewives of Atlanta, fucking Baddies Club, or whatever the fuck you watching, all of this goofy ass shit, what celebrities in these relationships, who getting divorced, and all that clown shit. And that's why we so motherfucking fucked up as a community, because we pay attention and we gas up bullshit. Why the fuck is it people like Shamar, nigga with the crooked ass body? Why is y'all praising motherfuckers like that? Y'all love to seem to the mentally ill people, y'all just seem to love and just want to make them the fucking celebrity in the face of us. Like, shit like that, bro, make me cringe. I'm like, y'all niggas can't be serious, bro. Y'all niggas cannot be serious with this clown shit, bro. It's irritating as fuck. Motherfuckers wonder why I don't be hanging out with motherfuckers, bro, because most of y'all mindsets are fucking corrupted, or fucking tainted, fam, with this bullshit. And y'all trying to act like this shit not in your face, but you just go with the fucking flow. Y'all need to wake the fuck up, fam. But let's get back to this shit, though.
I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working, or something
Mr.
was
President,
wrong.
I would love
I think
if you
it's
can
a
answer the
very
question
nasty
on your rhetoric
question.
and why you
I have
believe that
answered
black
the
voters
question.
should trust you with another
I
4
have
years.
been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than President
That's
Johnson,
my
who signed the
answer.
Voting Rights
And
Act?
for you to
Hey, the crowd speaks for whatever the fuck is going on. They feel his energy. They know what the fuck is up, bro. They not no damn goofies just sitting up in here. They showed up for Trump, nigga. You thinking that they showed up in hopes to see Kamala? No, you got Meg the Stallion and shit doing a little concert for her. And that's honestly making Kamala look even worse. So that's damn near a power play on on Megan the Stallion's behalf and shit. If you really think about that shit, like, she's making Kamala look even worse because she just got up there dancing, doing her thing, whatever. And Kamala, what did she talk about? Did she talk about anything, any policies he was running? Was she just talking about, I'm a prosecutor and Trump's a felon and we're going to get him locked up and all that clown ass shit? Well, bitch, talk about all them niggas that you locked up in California. Unjust. Talk about them. We can pull the facts about what the fuck you did, Kamala. You know that. You don't claim to be black. Your father's from Jamaica. He's Jamaican, but he's not like black Jamaican, though. He's a completely different ethnicity than black. He's Jamaican. Sure, your mom's Indian, but neither one of these motherfuckers are solid African. And I get it. We all come from the African genome, the Negroid phenotype, genotype. There's 4 genotypes. We have Dravidian, Caucasoid, Negroid, and Mongolian, Asian, you know. They don't have the Negroid gene. They're more Dravidian than anything. So when we talk about Kamala being black, just because her tone is dark don't mean shit. We can go to India real quick and talk about the caste system that they had with Mahatma Gandhi. Even he was a darker motherfucker, but he was talking about, oh yeah, all the people that are darker, you know, they're at the lower totem pole and shit because of whatever fucking reason. But the caste system, that shit was introduced by Indians, nigga. The fuck is you talking about? Let's get to it.
start off a question and answer period, especially when you're 35 minutes late because you couldn't get your equipment to work, in such a hostile manner. I think it's a disgrace.
Let me just ask a follow-up, sir, and then we'll move on to other questions here. Some of your own supporters.
Oh, okay. So she ain't want to address the fact that she was late. She's just trying to move past that because at the beginning of this, what'd she say? They had fact checks to check everything in real time. She want to try to move past that to be like, oh, no, we weren't late. Everybody in the fucking audience know that the bitch was late. Why the fuck would Trump sit there and lie about her being late? That ain't got shit to do with color. Bitch, you was late. Fuck is you talking about?
Including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
Diversity, equity, inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
He asked, how do you define it? Not what the acronym stands for, but what is the definition? Let's get to it.
Is that what your definition?
Give me
a definition then. Would you give me a definition
DEI.
of that? Give me a definition of
Sir,
that.
I'm asking you a question,
No,
a
you
very
have to
direct
define
question.
it. Define it for me, if you would.
I just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President
Just skipping over shit because she can't fucking define it. She can't define what the fuck a DEI is. Simply inclusion just based off of your ethnicity or your gender. It ain't got shit to do with your skill. It ain't got nothing to do with your qualifications. We gonna hire you. It's basically like affirmative action amplified, nigga. We need more women in this field. And have y'all noticed too? We got more women doing man shit now. Like, we got more women sitting out here doing construction. You know, shit that men normally do. I'm talking about bitches with big ass hips. You know what I'm saying? Motherly motherfuckers. You got them out here sitting here trying to fucking throw down concrete and lift these heavy ass cinder blocks, but they not gonna be able to do it. But because of this DEI shit, we have to include everybody. Okay, bitch, if that's the case, get your ass out here and pitch this fucking wool, nigga. Fuck is you talking about? It ain't finna be no, oh, can you help me? Nah, bitch, you ain't qualified for this fucking job. But because of the DEI, you here now. Because of the DEI, we got motherfuckers in positions that they're not supposed to be in, man. And that's no shade to no race. But because of the DEI, not only do we have women in positions that they're not supposed to be in because of their nature, we also have these motherfucking immigrants illegally over here in positions that they're not supposed to fucking be in. These are supposed to be jobs that me and you supposed to be at. Black folks, white folks, Asians, Mexicans, don't matter. But we can't even have that because guess what? All the fucking migrants that's coming over here from these other fucking countries are getting first dibs at all of this shit. Not only that, they getting stipends, they getting fucking resources, they getting food stamps, getting checks every month, all of that shit. And we wonder why we can't find a fucking job is because these motherfuckers are coming in from Venezuela, down in fucking South America, all these prisoners and shit, coming in from fucking Ukraine, coming in from Afghanistan, nigga, and fucking everything up. Y'all need to understand what the fuck going on, fam. This is why everything's so fucked up right now. You can play blind if you want to, bro. It's gonna catch up with your ass eventually. I'm telling you.
Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman.
Well, I can say, no, I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much. And she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She has always identified as a black woman. She went to a historically black college.
I respect.
See, you can sit here and say you identify as black all you want, but black is a part of the caste system. You're of African descent. Whether you're indigenous black or you came over on the ships black, you're an indigenous African. You have, I mean, well, not indigenous African, you have an indigenous, either indigenous roots as being in a fucking African descent here on the soil already before the fucking ships came. Because a lot of people don't talk about the fact that black folks own slaves too, nigga. A lot of people don't talk about that. They don't put that in the history books because this his story, nigga. They don't talk about the fact that niggas own slaves too, though, do they? No, they don't. Let's continue.
Either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do you believe that
I think somebody should look into that too when you ask, continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some Republicans
I really don't
have
know.
said?
I mean, I really don't know. Could be. There are some, and there are plenty. I know this lady right over there, Harris, is a fantastic person who just interviewed me at length. And we had a great interview, I think, and I heard you got very good ratings on that
Well,
interview.
you told me it was the longest one of your life, so we had a good discussion. Look, I want to talk about why you're here today. I mean, it is not lost on us how divided we are as a country. And as you were coming today, we really got to see that we are divided along the lines of race, along the lines of gender. And there is this question of, in this moment where we are, why come here? What is your message today?
My message is to stop people from invading our country that are taking, frankly, a lot of problems with it. But one of the big problems, and a lot of the journalists in this room I know and I have great respect for, a lot of the journalists in this room are black. I will tell you that coming from the border are millions and millions of people that happen to be taking black jobs. You had the best.
What exactly is a black job, sir?
A black job is anybody that has a job. That's what it is. Anybody that has a job.
All right.
And
Mr. President,
they're taking the.
Pretty much, fam. Like, he's saying black jobs. He's not trying to. If it come off racist because it's coming from a white man, fam. He's just talking about basic ass shit. Like, okay, have y'all noticed for like the past year that if you try to switch jobs or if you ended up getting laid off, I'm speaking from my personal experience, that how fucking hard it is to actually land a decent fucking job, to land a job at all. I'm talking about, I've been trying to get unemployed, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people can relate to what the fuck I'm saying. It ain't got nothing to do. You can go on TikTok right now. It's a lot of white folks on that motherfucker talking about I got laid off from Google. I got laid off from fucking Microsoft, Activision and shit, bro. It's not just niggas getting laid off and they can't find a job, bro. Everybody going through this shit because of this whole migrant situation, because they coming in and taking these fucking positions. Why the fuck every time we call customer service, there's always somebody that has an accent? That's weird to me. You servicing motherfuckers in America, you can barely speak English language, bro. What the fuck are you talking about?
Employment away from black people. They're coming in, and they're invading. It's an invasion of millions of people, probably 15, 16, 17 million people. I have...
In accordance, see, 15, 16, 17 million people. In accordance to, let me look this shit up, man. Because according to the population, we are only like how much percent? At least 13 to 18% of the population. $47.9 million people. So that's 14.4% of the country's population. If you got close to half, hell, if not more, because I'm pretty sure he even said it's more than the, I would not be surprised. That's literally half of motherfucking migrants coming over here and just being plugged into jobs that me and you can get, that should be able to get, without having to fucking wait so fucking long and fill out so many fucking applications, bro. I done filled out by like at least 40 to 50 fucking applications for these goddamn jobs. Probably only got by like 5 callbacks or 5 interviews. Let's just say that. And only out of all of those, one motherfucker gave me a shot. One motherfucker gave me a shot, and ain't no fucking way I'd have been able to sustain what the fuck I'm doing now. Just doing Amazon Flex. There's no fucking way. Not the way this shit is going. Not with the unemployment fucking running out and I gotta wait a whole fucking month before I can refile before my benefit year end. And you know, once my benefit year ended and go about that shit, how in the fuck can you survive off it? Raising fucking rates, food expensive as fuck. Places to live going up. You got motherfuckers migrating here from fucking Illinois, bro. I'm pretty fucking sure if you're here in Wisconsin, you see a lot of Illinois places. There's a damn good reason why, because that's a sanctuary city down there in Cook County, nigga. In Chicago, that's where most of these motherfucking migrants are going. Chicago, LA, New York. It's horrible in LA. LA is a fucking, is ridiculous in LA. Gavin Newsom already dealing with the bullshit of him hiking up prices, and not only that, it's a lot of homeless folks out there in California right now living on Skid Row, and they make by like $50,000 a year, and they homeless. What the fuck type of crazy shit is that, bro? Property tax went up by like 80-some% in Cook County. That's damn near double what the fuck people been paying on property tax. Even if they own the home, guess what? Your property tax just doubled. So now, surprise, nigga, here you go. And I'm pretty sure some people here in Wisconsin dealt with it too, especially here in Milwaukee. They just had a property tax hike. I'm not sure the percentage, maybe like 40, 50% or some shit, but a lot of people's upset. The homeowners, the motherfuckers that got mortgages out already and shit, y'all going through that shit right now, and you ain't got to say who the fuck you is. If you got a crib right now, you've been subjected to a stupid ass high tax spike, bro. And I know it's hurting your pockets right now. It's hurting us all right now. I get it. You don't have to sit here and fake the fucking funk. We understand, but I'm just trying to convey the message to y'all that, folks, this man right here is pretty much trying to get rid of all of that shit so that motherfuckers can actually have a chance and have a fair motherfucking shot at living in this fucking country and not giving everything to the fucking migrants and immigrants that came from these prisons and these fucking insane asylums from Venezuela, Guatemala, Honduras, fucking Yemen, goddamn me, Afghanistan, goddamn Ukraine, all of that shit, bro. So y'all really just gotta think about this shit, fam. It's something serious, bro. It ain't nothing to just play around with and say we don't care who get in office, bro. If you that type of motherfucker, just do some research. That's all I'm gonna tell you. Do some research on what Trump's policies are, and do some research on Kamala's policies, and let's see and compare the two and see who's doing what. Until then, like, fam, you can go to the government website and see who does what and what they're responsible for. There's nothing to pull that up. Take some time out and just do a little research, fam. I'm telling you, it'll be worth it. It will be worth it, bro.
I have a feeling it's much more than that. And everybody's been seeing what's happened. The first group of people, the black population, is affected most by that. And Kamala is allowing it to happen. She's the border czar. She's the worst border czar in the history of the world. There's never been a border czar like this. She's never even essentially been. She said she was there once, but not the right part of the border. So she was a border czar. She's done a horrible job. These people are coming into our country, and they're taking black jobs and Hispanic jobs, and frankly, they're taking union jobs. Unions are being very badly affected by all of the millions of people that are pouring into our country. And one thing, as we discussed, many of these people are coming in from mental institutions, from prisons, from jails. They're gang members in other countries. Other countries are setting loose their prisoners. They're opening up their prisons and their mental institutions, and they're taking their bad people, drug dealers, gang members, and they're bringing them into the United States. And by the way, their crime rate is going down, and our crime rate is going to be a disaster.
Mr. President, I want to get into how you address some of the issues with black communities. And I say that plural because we live in communities of color that are different. We're not all the same. We don't vote the same. We don't think the same.
True.
It's not monolithic. So as you come here today, I want to talk about something that bursts. And this is the weight of the inflation on this country right now. The nonprofit Money Management International recently released data from its mid-year analysis that we have found a 52% rise in people who are seeking counseling for being in credit debt. They're paying for food that is sky high on their credit cards, and now they can't pay that off. The credit counseling nonprofit MMI, as I said, is saying now that they've seen surges that they haven't seen since we were in a pandemic of people in financial trouble.
Bro, and that's another thing, too. I'm so glad she brought that up and how she conveyed it, how she explained that shit. Because in the pandemic, during the pandemic, even though everything was shut down, a lot of small businesses went under, which is some bogus-ass shit. The fact that the fucking Congress granted, the extra stipend for the emergency unemployment and shit like that, even though I didn't benefit from it because I was working during the pandemic. A lot of people was eating. A lot of motherfuckers that had got unemployed, bro, they was living better than motherfuckers that actually had jobs, quote unquote essential workers. But the fact that everything was low, everything was cool, the food wasn't that high, the gas was low as a bitch, and motherfuckers was living and chilling, bro. That's why I'm saying, like, bro, now it's like, it's chaos. This shit is worse. This shit rivals. Fuck the pandemic, because the pandemic, technically, under the fucking guise of the economy, it was still doing good. They just shut everything down. The fucked up part about it, some businesses went out, even though they introduced the PPP loan, where a lot of motherfuckers was exploiting and trying to do that shit, they coming after y'all ass butters. I hope y'all know that shit. But not only that, you got motherfuckers that's like, you had the unemployment, they were getting money for, they was getting like an extra $600-700 on top of whatever they was getting from their state that was unemployed, so they just living. They ain't got to worry about shit. Why the fuck are we sitting here and just, what's the problem with Trump? What's the problem with Trump? You see what the fuck is going on with Biden? You see he done sent so many billions of dollars over there to motherfucking Ukraine. Now you bringing all them people over here from there, from Ukraine, from Venezuela, from all, South American countries. And what Trump said, all their crime rates going down while our shit is skyrocketing. We can see that. We can pull up fucking stories in fucking Chicago specifically, our neighbors to the south. It's so many people moving out of fucking Illinois right now. It's ridiculous. you see what the fuck going on. There's so many fucking people down there in Illinois right now that's moving up to Wisconsin. I know y'all see that.
People who are seeking counseling.
I know y'all
for
see the
being
fucking
in credit debt.
the
They're paying.
I don't know what the fuck happened, but whatever. Y'all see the invasion of Illinois coming up here. And not only that, it's some migrants that's coming up here too. When I was out today driving around, folks, doing my route, doing my Amazon shit, because I'll be doing that on the weekends and shit. Now, I've seen a lot of bitches walking around with the burqas on. I've seen a lot of just, you know, Middle Eastern looking people. It's not that they indigenous, bro. These are definitely migrants that not only stationed here, but they coming up from Illinois too, because they realize, oh, it's cheaper in Wisconsin. Let's go there. Now they finna start fucking with our economy, with the state's economy of Wisconsin. And what the fuck is Tony Evers gonna do about it? He not equipped to fucking handle that situation. And we all know that shit. Just like what I mentioned on one of my videos back in the beginning of this year, bro, when we had that big ass snowstorm. This motherfucker didn't declare a state of emergency or nothing. Motherfuckers were without power for damn near a whole fucking week. He didn't address none of that shit. He didn't declare a state of emergency or nothing. Motherfuckers still had to go to work and all that shit. Power off, food spoiling and all that shit. And motherfuckers was out of power. Some people was out of power for damn near a whole fucking week. So just imagine what the fuck going on. See, it's Democrats that allow shit like this. Fuck Tony Evers, nigga. Fuck the Democratic Party. Fuck Kamala. Fuck all y'all lame ass weirdos, bro. Fuck that rule of inclusion shit. Take care of home first, nigga. Why the fuck is you giving all this money to these foreigners? What the fuck have they done but come over here and just collect off our tax money? Collect at our fucking expense and then want to sit here and act like they run shit. They committing crimes in Chicago. Getting back to my point. Committing crimes in Chicago, motherfuckers killing little girls and all that shit, bro. Like, these are foreigners coming in doing shit. This ain't even the motherfucking crimes that's happening in the fucking city amongst the American, the real Chicago motherfuckers. This shit is happening from the foreigners coming in doing that shit because this is a sanctuary city. Get the fuck out of here. Y'all trying to bring this country down, bro. Y'all ain't shit. Let me check this motherfucking sound. Make sure I'm still on, folks. Yeah, we still on, bro. Hold up, man. There we go. All right, let's get back to this shit.
Paying for food that is sky high on their credit cards, and now they can't pay that off. The credit counseling nonprofit MMI, as I said, is saying now that they've seen surges that they haven't seen since we were in a pandemic of people in financial trouble. Much of that falls on the shoulders of single moms, single black moms, when you look statistically. Yeah. How do you turn it around? What's your plan for the black community when it comes to money?
So, first of all, it's very hard to hear you for whatever reason because of the fact that they have bad equipment, because I guess, you know, this woman was unable to get the right equipment. But it's very hard for me to hear you, but I can hear every other word. It's very difficult, actually. But so I don't know if they can fix it or do something with it, but I'll do the best I can with it. The inflation is absolutely destroying our middle class, our working class, virtually every class. Inflation is a disaster in our country. Inflation is a country buster. It breaks every country. And we had, in my opinion, the worst inflation we've had. They say it's 58 years, but I think it's much more than that. It's been devastating. And if you just take a look at a lot of things they don't include, like interest rates. Interest rates went from 2.4% to 10%, and you can't get the money. People can't buy houses. They no longer have the American dream. Young people, young black people, they don't have the American dream anymore. They can't buy a house. They can't borrow the money because of the cost of the money. They can't buy it because of the cost of housing, because of the cost to build it, because of inflation. Inflation is a disaster, and it's destroying our country, and it's destroying the black community.
Yeah, now I'm pretty sure he's like, I'm not finna answer a question specifically for just black women and black single moms. Like, let's target the whole community, the whole population, because we can't just single out the moms, bro. We not finna fucking sit here and act like WIC don't exist. We not finna fucking sit here and act like women don't have a whole opportunity still in front of them to get state assistance even while working and not interrupt their money. So let's not fucking sit here and try to just close over. What about black women? Like, what about black people in general? What about the country as a whole? Let's stop being so fucking selfish and just looking at just y'all. What you gonna do for black women? Motherfucker, we gonna do for the whole goddamn community, not just y'all, motherfucker. Quit being selfish, for one. Secondly, you got contraceptives, you have birth control, you got all types of shit you can go for your medical provider so you can prevent these pregnancies so that you ain't out here looking stupid, so that you ain't a single mom. So let's not fucking do that, please.
Community probably as much or
So what do
more
you do?
than any.
What's your plan?
You know what we have to do? We have to bring down the cost of energy, and that's going to bring down the cost of inflation. This was all started with a bad energy policy by Joe Biden. By the way, just if I might, I was running against a man named Biden. You probably saw that. And he was losing very badly in the polls, and then he had a rather bad debate. I would say it was a bad debate. I would say it was one of the worst debates in history. And his poll numbers crashed. And instead of saying, you know, let's keep going and maybe something happens the other way, they said, oh, we're going to replace him. Let's just replace him. That's like you're in a fight, a prize fighter's in a fight. He's not doing well. You say, let's bring in another fighter. So our whole campaign was steered toward him, and now we have to steer toward him. But ultimately, it's the same because they have bad policy. They have policies of open borders, unbelievable open borders, horrible energy policies. They want to get rid of, as you say, gasoline in cars. They want to get rid of oil. They want to get rid of efficient.
He know what the fuck going on, bro, because y'all know that shit, bro, several years ago, bro. All these car companies saying, yeah, we about to go electric. We finna do electric. Bro, fuck that shit, bro. I need a motherfucking 6-valve, four banger, whatever the fuck, with some motherfucking gas in it, nigga. I can't rely on no motherfucking charge from a car, nigga. What the fuck is you talking about? That's just a recipe for disaster, bro, in the long term. Have you seen how many Tesla vehicles, bro, after so many years, after about 10 years, the first model, the Tesla Model X, if you can find one online, bro, it's probably gonna need a battery replacement. That shit costs about like damn near 30 grand to replace. So you better off getting a fucking gas car, bro. Like, get the fuck out of here. Are you serious?
Heating,
Mr. President.
environmentally, what they're doing is killing our country. They're absolutely destroying our country. But the inflation is the thing that's hurting the black worker, the black population, and every other population within our country. Inflation is the worst it's been, I think, in over 100 years. And they'll fact check it. They'll say it's only 58. Whatever it may be, they don't add all the numbers. They don't add the really bad numbers, and you can check that too. But inflation, Harris, is absolutely destroying this country and the people in our country. Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
President, can I ask you another question
Yes,
that is also impacting black Americans?
And that's very clear now. Good.
I'm sorry?
It's very clear. I hear you.
Okay. So Sonia Massey, someone from Illinois, an unarmed black woman, was shot the other day in her home by a deputy sheriff. The deputy has since been charged with murder. You've said police would get immunity from prosecution if you win. Why should someone like that officer have immunity, in your opinion?
Immunity?
Immunity.
I don't know the exact case, but I saw something, and it didn't look good to me. It didn't look good to me. Are you talking with the water, right?
Yeah, well, police unions are not backing this person either.
Okay.
But again, why would...
They're going to be charging the officer. I guess they're charging the officer.
So why should he receive immunity?
Well, he might not. I mean, it depends. It depends on what happens. I'm talking about people that are much different cases than that. We need people to protect ourselves. And by the way, in Chicago, as an example, a few weeks ago, July 4th weekend, they had 117 shootings and 17 deaths. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. We need to have our police officers have the respect and dignity back. In this particular case, I saw something that didn't look good to me. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
So can you get a little more specific back to the immunity question? Who would make those
Well, right now,
distinctions?
for the most part, people are protected by their unions, by their police unions, or by their police departments. But I'm saying if I felt, or if a group of people would feel that somebody was being unfairly prosecuted because the person did a good job maybe with crime, or made a mistake, an innocent mistake. There's a big difference between being a bad person and making an innocent mistake. But if somebody made an innocent mistake, I would want to help that person.
What would those exceptions be? What would determine
You
an
go
innocent
after
mistake?
somebody and it's a very close call and it's very dangerous. And you know, they have, the policeman's life and woman is a very difficult thing because sometimes you have less than a second to make a, you know, life and death decision. And sometimes very bad decisions are made. They're not made from an evil standpoint, but they're made from the standpoint of they made a mistake.
So I want to follow up really quickly. You know, I find it interesting because you do talk about reining in prosecutors, especially when it comes to prosecutors that are prosecuting you. Why doesn't that skepticism apply to law enforcement?
Well, I've been prosecuted because I'm a political opponent of two people that have weaponized our justice system. I've been prosecuted. I just won the big case in Florida. Everyone said that was the biggest case. That was the most difficult case. And I just won it. Now, Biden has a similar case, except much worse. I was protected under the Presidential Records Act. Biden wasn't, because he wasn't president at the time. And he had 50 years worth of documents. And they ruled that he was incompetent, and therefore he shouldn't stand trial. And I said, isn't that something?
Wow.
He's incompetent, and he can't stand trial. And yet,
he
can be president. Isn't that nice?
Type of shit is
But
that?
they released him on the basis that he was incompetent. They said he had no memory, and he was a nice old guy, but he had no memory, and therefore we're not going to prosecute him. I won the case, and it got very little publicity. I didn't notice ABC doing any publicity on it, George.
We cover you extensively, sir. I'd love to move over on to
I didn't notice you
now.
do any publicity on it at all. I won the case, the biggest case. This is an attack on a political opponent. I have another one where I have a hostile judge.
We have you for a limited time, sir. I'd love to move on to different topics.
No, excuse you.
if we
You're the
can.
one that held me up for 35 minutes, just so you understand.
If we can move on now to the state of the race, sir, I want to get back to the campaign. Senator J.D. Vance is your running mate. He's had a lot of controversy lately, and I want to read you a few things that he has said in the past. He said the Democrats running the country are a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices they've made, and so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. He's not talking here about how great it is to be a parent. He's attacking what he says are the choices people are making to not have children. Did you know that he had these views about people who do not have children before you picked him to be your running mate, and do you agree with him?
No, I know this. He is very family-oriented, and he thinks family is a great thing. That doesn't mean he thinks that if you don't have a family, it's not. I know people with families. I know people with great families. I know people with very troubled families. And I also know people with no families. They didn't meet the right person. Things happen. You go through life, you don't meet the right person.
But he's not just talking about families here.
And
he also
some of
says
those
that people that don't have children should get less votes than those that do.
I'm just speaking for myself.
Is that your
and I
campaign
think
position?
I'm speaking for him, too. He strongly believes in family. But I know people with great families. I know people with not great families that don't have a family. And the people without the family are far better. They're superior in many cases, okay? He's not saying they're not. What he's saying is that he thinks the family experience is a very important thing. It's a very good thing. But that doesn't mean that if you grow up and you grow older and you don't meet somebody that would be wonderful to meet and would have been good, that that's a bad thing. He's not saying that. My interpretation, you'll have to ask him, actually, but my interpretation is he's strongly family-oriented, but that doesn't mean if you don't have a family, there's something wrong with it.
Just one last point, and then we'll move on. Just one of the bedrock principles of American life is one person, one vote. Senator J.D. Vance has suggested that someone who has children should have more votes than a person who does not have children. I just want to be clear here. Is that the position of your campaign?
Well, no, but it's not something I have ever heard before. I can tell you this. Right now you have illegal aliens coming into our country, many from prisons and many from mental institutions, and they want to give them votes. I don't think they should have votes.
Right.
They came into our country illegally,
People
and
who
they're
are only
taking the vote
American
away
citizens
from
are
all
allowed
of the
to vote,
people
sir.
in this room that have been here a long time. that have worked hard, that in many cases, and you'll see this happening, if I'm not elected, you're going to see it happening. If I am, you're not going to have any problem. But you're going to see it happening a long time. You're going to see the people in this room and people outside of this room are going to be losing their jobs to people that have come into this country illegally.
Mr. President, can we stay with just kind of the state of the race right now? Because I felt like that vice president question, candidate question was right in there with that. So let's talk about J.D. Vance for a little bit. He's had some stumbles out of the gate. I don't know if you're hearing what we hear as reporters, but it's been a tough couple of weeks for him. Why did you choose J.D. Vance?
Why
did you choose him? And I'm having a hard time hearing, too. I know everybody out there can, but it's hard to hear.
I'll tell you why. I chose him because he's a very strong believer in work and the working man and woman, and especially the working man and woman who have been treated very unfairly, because you have many of them in this room. But you have many of those people, they were treated very unfairly. They worked very hard and they were treated unfairly. He wrote the book that became a bestseller. The movie became a smash hit. He's a very smart guy without the benefit of having a family that has contacts, like a father that was well connected. He got into Yale Law School. He graduated in 2 years from Ohio State, summa cum laude. I mean, you take a look at, his career has been an amazing career. He started off at a level with a difficult family situation, very difficult with the mother and the father and everything else. He ends up going to Yale Law School and was one of the top students, became the head of the Law Journal. I mean, that's
so basically what he's saying is, folks, his running mate didn't come from a good background either. It was trouble in the household, So if y'all didn't get what he was saying, basically he conveying like, yeah, just because he white don't necessarily mean he came from a loving household with a picket fence and a dog. You know what I'm saying? The parents was always together. He came from some troubled shit too. And that's why Trump picked him, because he's like, well, shit, you understand you've been through this shit. I honestly don't understand why he chose Pence with his first, as his first running mate. Because I don't think the bro was a good choice, but that taught Trump a lesson. Pretty much like, let me do my research and see who the fuck can actually, who's been through some shit that's actually a good choice for this, But let's see though.
Amazing thing. He's a 4-year, he was in the military with great distinction for 4 years, got out, went into business, became successful in business, very successful in business actually, did public offerings and other things. And I have to believe in that. I mean, he's somebody that was born in a rough situation. Most of the people know that situation because it was very well documented in his book. And I have a lot of respect for somebody that can get into Yale and become one of the best students in Yale, that meets a young woman at Yale who was also outstanding, and they get married, they have a beautiful family. But he had he's made himself an amazing life. He then goes to Ohio, lives in Ohio, and he had my endorsement. That helped. But he wins the Senate. He becomes a United States Senator. So he's a United States Senator. And so, Harris, like I respect you for your success, I respect people for their success.
The reason I asked the question is because the last time you and I sat and talked was the day that you were shot. We'd been together for much of that day. You left to go to Butler, Pennsylvania, and we didn't know what was next.
Yeah.
And 2 days after that...
I cannot understand. Your microphone
I know,
is so
it is really hard for me to understand
it's just,
you, too.
I can understand you perfectly.
Because she's closer.
I can understand you. But I can't understand, Harris.
I have a few more questions.
Because of the distance, and the mics are really in lousy shape, but I cannot understand
Are you asking a question?
what you're saying.
So what I wanted to say was the last time we spoke, you said some words that were prophetic, because I asked you who you wanted to choose for vice president.
Yeah.
And you said normally it really wouldn't matter what they would bring. You choose somebody that you think has a future, that sort of thing. But you said these words 3.5 hours before an attempted assassination on your life. You told me that bad things happen, Harris, and that's why this decision is important this time. Bad things happen. You said it twice. When you look at J.D. Vance, is he ready on day one?
Does he what?
Ready on day one, if he has to be.
I've always had great respect for him, and for the other candidates too. But I will say this, and I think this is well documented. Historically, the vice president, in terms of the election, does not have any impact. I mean, virtually no impact. You have 2 or 3 days where there's a lot of commotion as to who, like you're having it on the Democrat side, who it's going to be. And then that dies down, and it's all about the presidential pick. Virtually never has it mattered. Maybe Lyndon Johnson mattered for different reasons of what we're talking about, not for vote reasons, but for political reasons, other political reasons. But historically, the choice of a vice president makes no difference. You're voting for the president, and you can have a vice president who's outstanding in every way, and I think JD is. I think that all of them would have been. But you're not voting that way. You're voting for the president. You're voting for me. If you like me, I'm going to win. If you don't like me, I'm not going to win.
I'm going to get my J.D. Vance question in.
J.D. Vance?
I'm going to get my J.D. Vance question in. To your point and to Rachel's point, he, has a lot of opinions about childless women like myself or divorced people like yourself. Do you think, well, I mean, my point
but at
is
least
here.
it was said in a friendly manner.
My point is, do you think the Republican Party is getting a little bit too judgy about people's lives when you think about abortion or when you think about what J.D. Vance is saying?
I don't think, look, I think that the Democrat Party is really the one that has the problem. I think they're radical on abortion because they're allowing abortion in the 9th month. They're allowing the death of a baby after the baby is born, based on the governor of Virginia. Based on the governor of Virginia, they're allowing the death of the baby after it's born. They're allowing abortions in the 8th and 9th month.
Well, Democrats have denied.
I think they're right. And I think the Republican Party is actually much less. I think I've made them much less radical, perhaps, but the Republican Party, what we're doing is bringing it back to the states where everybody wanted it. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives, everybody wanted abortion brought back. They didn't want Roe v. Wade in the federal government. They wanted it, everybody.
But the majority of Americans oppose Roe v. Wade being overturned.
They don't know about this. Right now, they're voting. It brought it back to the states. Now, I happen to believe in the 3 exceptions. Ronald Reagan believed with rape, incest, life of the mother. I do. I think most people do. I think most Republicans.
Bro, that's what I'm saying, bro. A situation like that, it should be no contest whether or not you can get an abortion. Obviously, you should be entitled to that. But you know what I'm saying? Like, let's address the elephant in the room. Outside of those 3 that he mentioned, incest, rape, the risk of the mother. Y'all hoes need to get more responsible with y'all bodies. Your body, your choice, right? Okay, well, stand on that shit and get some fucking protection. Use that shit. Don't be caught up in the moment of lust. Use your fucking head. I get it, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? When niggas be up in it, whatever the fuck y'all doing, it might feel immaculate. But fuck the bullshit. You still feeling him. He can barely feel you because he got on the rubber. Oh, well. It might take longer for him to get his nut off. But at the end of the day, you protect. You ain't got to worry about the risk of getting pregnant or none of that shit. Be more responsible with your body. That's all this comes down to.
Republicans do also. But if you take a look, right now they're doing, it's an amazing thing. Out of the federal government, it's in states, and people are voting. And I will say, Ohio is, let's call it a more liberal version, has been approved. Kansas, the same thing, a little bit surprising to a lot of people. But the people are now voting, and it's taking this issue that's been going on for 52 years and has torn our country apart, and it's giving it to the people to vote on. And they're voting. And many states have already voted. Others are in the process of voting. And it's bringing it back to the people and a vote of the people. And it's not at all radical. And again, you have to follow your heart. I happen to believe in the 3 exceptions. Most people believe in the 3 exceptions. Most Republicans believe in the exceptions. But they don't want to see an abortion in the 9th month or the 8th month. Almost everybody agrees to that.
He's putting it clear cut and fucking dry. You telling me you full term, you in your third trimester, and you trying to get an abortion? You might as well go ahead and have that motherfucker and give it up for adoption. If you don't want it, if you feel that you ain't responsible or won't have nobody around you to support you, the village to raise this child, you have options outside of just killing it. It's not taking away your right. He's specifically saying basically the third trimester is when you can't get one, and y'all tripping off of that. Bro, give these hoes the horn, bro. See what I'm saying? Y'all be jumping to conclusions, bro. Give these hoes the horn immediately. Y'all don't even be paying attention to shit. And this is the whole thing I'm talking about, like the whole Project 2025 shit. Trump don't endorse that shit. Y'all motherfuckers are tripping, bro. And I'm pretty sure they might ask him that question too. Got about like a little under 10 minutes left of this video. Let's see.
And they certainly don't want to see, in the case of the governor of Virginia, the former governor, I might add, who said, we set the baby aside and then we decide what to do. Meaning, what do? We execute the baby. That's a radical, horrible position. And some people want that. I don't want it. Most people don't.
Thank you. Can I just pivot really quickly to another question about, you brought up health, Harris. You're an active man. We see you golfing all the time. But if you win, you'll still be president at 82, which is older than Biden is right now.
But not mentally. Look, mentally.
Here's the question.
He's shot. But most people.
Would you consider?
Most people. I know many people in their 80s and their 90s that are in great shape. Some of our greatest leaders. You look at throughout the world history. The greatest leaders, some of the greatest leaders in the world were in their 80s.
But here's the question. Would you consider stepping down if you felt that your health was declining? Or would you?
Oh, absolutely.
And who would make,
I think I'd know.
How would you make that decision?
I think I'd know. Look, if I came onto a stage like this and I got treated so rudely as this woman treated me.
Oh, my goodness.
And I'm fine with it because she was very rude, sir. Very rude. That wasn't a question. She didn't ask me a question. She gave a statement. That wasn't a question.
I repeated your statement, sir, actually.
How you going in on her ass? He ain't letting that shit ride.
Absolutely. If I thought that I was failing in some way, I want people to be sharp. I'll go a step further. I want anybody running for president to take an aptitude test, to take a cognitive test.
Right.
I think it's a great idea. And I took 2 of them, and I aced them.
Well,
I took 2 of them. But let me ask you. I would like to have people running for president, and I don't mean because they're 75 or 85. I think anybody running, I'd like to do it. People say it's not constitutional. I would like to have something passed where you can do it. I think we should know. I mean, I've watched what's happened in the last couple of years under this gentleman, and our country is a mess. We have inflation. We have the millions of people falling in. We have Afghanistan, which was the worst, most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. What he has done to our country, and her too, what they've done to our country, she has been a horrible vice president. She's considered the worst vice president in the history of our country.
Don't mean to interrupt you, but would you consider taking the cognitive test?
Mr. President.
I would love to
and make it public.
Well, I've already taken 2 of them, but I'll do it again.
Mr. President, how do you intend to...
I suggested, Harris, that let's take one. I said, Joe and I will go and take a cognitive test. Now, I'd do it with her, too. I would do it with her also. You know what? She failed her law exam. She didn't pass her law exam, so maybe she wouldn't pass the cognitive test.
Wait a minute, bro. Hold up. He dropping jewels, nigga. Wait, she failed her law exam? But she going around parading the fact that she's a fucking prosecutor and all this shit. So what did she get her degree in? How many times did she fail that test? You know what I'm saying? And how did she get through? Did she fuck her way to the top? Judge Joe Brown said it, and he's an actual judge. He was actually in the law school. He ain't no just TV judge. I mean, all the TV judges went to some form of law school, but Judge Joe Brown was actually like on the fucking case of Martin Luther King and said that, hey, it wasn't an assassination attempt by what was dude name that supposedly shot him? Earl some shit. Earl something. Earl Ray or some shit like that. James Earl Ray or some shit like that. Whatever dude name was, that was the supposed assassin. The reason why he didn't vote and say that he was attempted to get killed by bros because that wasn't him that did it. He was just the fucking fall man. See, it's starting to all come full circle. And if you listen to Judge Joe Brown, fam, you need to go listen to this fucking podcast, fam, because he be dropping some motherfucking gems, bro. And man, shout out to Judge Joe Brown, bro. That nigga be dropping some motherfucking jewels, bro. He really do, bro. He really fucking do, dog. Judge Joe Brown, listen to him, fam. Go listen to him, bro. He got some motherfucking gems to drop on your ass, bro. Let's go ahead and wrap this up, though.
President, are you saying she wouldn't pass? Just to be clear,
I'm just giving you the facts.
To be clear, you don't think Harris?
How do you intend?
She didn't pass her bar exam, and she didn't think she would pass it, and she didn't think she was going to ever pass it. And I don't know what happened. Maybe she passed it.
She did pass it.
There's a man over here. I think he must work for her.
Mr. President, I would love to ask you about January 6th. You've called yourself the candidate of law and order.
Yeah.
When Time Magazine asked you if you would consider pardoning all the rioters, you said, yes, absolutely.
Sure.
You called them patriots. 140 police officers were assaulted that day. Their injuries included broken bones, at least one officer lost an eye, one had 2 cracked ribs,
Damn.
2 smashed spinal discs, another had a stroke.
What the
Were
fuck?
the people who assaulted those 140 officers, including those I just mentioned, patriots who deserve pardons?
Well, let me bring it back to modern day. Like about 5 days ago, we had an attack on the Capitol, a horrible attack on the Capitol. You saw the people that were protesting and spraying these incredible monuments, bells, lions, all these magnificent limestone and granite with red paint, red spray paint, that will never actually come off, especially in the limestone. It will never, I'm a builder, I know about this stuff. It'll never, you'll see it in 100 years from now. They viciously attacked our government. They fought with police. They fought with them much more openly than I saw on January 6th. What's going to happen to those people? What's going to happen to the people in Portland that destroyed that city?
But sir, my question is on those.
What's going to happen to the people that tried to burn
rioters who assaulted officers.
You have to
would you pardon
what's
those
going to
people?
happen? Oh, absolutely, I would.
You would pardon those?
If they're innocent, I would pardon them.
They've been convicted.
And by the way, the Supreme Court just well, they were convicted by a very tough system. How come the people that tried to burn down Minneapolis, how come the people that took over a large percentage of Seattle, how come nothing happened to them? How come the people
But sir, we're talking about people that were seen beating officers with flagpoles, dragging them down the stairs. They're on video. Have you seen that video, sir?
Oh, really? Well, they
you would pardon those. You would pardon those rioters?
They shot a young lady in the face who was protesting. They shot her in the face. You know, nobody died that day. You do know that. But people died in Seattle. Nobody died, but people died in Minneapolis. You know, people died in Minneapolis. And nothing happens, and nobody ever talks, and nothing happens to those people. But you went after the J6 people with a vengeance. And I'll tell you what about the cops that were, and I'm all for the police, as you know, but what about the police that are ushering everybody into the Capitol? Go in, go in, go in. What about that? Look, nothing is perfect in life, but you have people from Minneapolis, you have people just from 5 days ago in Washington, D.C. They were having fistfights and fighting with the police. They were spraying and destroying. They were desecrating our monuments in Washington, D.C. 5 days ago, and nothing happened to them. And you can't have two systems of justice. That's why they went after me as a political opponent, because they felt they couldn't win without doing that. And we're going to win our cases, and we're going to be vindicated. But I have to spend a lot of time on that and money. That's what they want. After the election, they won't care. Although in my case, I think they probably will, because the hatred is pretty deep. But I'll tell you, they went after me as a political opponent. That's never happened in our country before, and it sets a terrible, terrible precedent.
What do you do on day one if you win? What's your first thing?
What do? I close the border. And I do two things, because I can do a lot of things simultaneously. I close the border. We don't want people coming in. We want people to come in, Harris, but they have to be vetted. They have to be checked. They have to come in legally. I want people to come into our country, but they have to be vetted. They have to be checked. So when you say, what do? That, and I drill, baby, drill. I bring energy way down. I bring interest rates down. I bring inflation way down so people can buy bacon again, so people can buy a ham sandwich again, so that people can go to a restaurant and afford it. Because right now, people can't buy food. Your grocery bills are up 40, 50, 60%, right? She's agreeing to me. Oh, she's agreeing. Thank you. I like you very much.
Mr. President, I think we are.
But it's true. Your grocery bills are up. And then they're mandating that you buy an all-electric car. You know, Elon Musk endorsed me, and he's a friend of mine. He's a good guy. He's a smart guy. But I'm against everybody having an electric car, okay? I'm very much against that. You have to be able to, if you want a hybrid or if you want a gasoline-propelled car. But, you know, we have more liquid gold, gasoline, oil, under our feet than any other country. More than Saudi Arabia, more than Russia, more than any other country.
And if that's the fucking case, why the fuck are we sitting here buying oil from different countries, bro? See, that's why gas prices were so fucking low when the pandemic jumped off. That shit was damn near like $1 a gallon, bro. They over there in Saudi Arabia, bro, getting that shit for like cents on a gallon, bro. We can do the same, bro. Like, that's what I'm saying, bro. Stop playing with him, Trump. Go ahead and reveal what the fuck need to be revealed, bro.
I want to use it. I want to use what we have. I want to bring down prices, bring down costs. And I also have to stop the invasion. And remember, they're taking your jobs. These people coming in are taking your jobs.
Project 2025.
I think we have to leave it there by the Trump team.
All right.
So leave it. That is the last word. Thank you so much, Mr. Trump, for coming today and joining us.
Well, thank you very much.
They've been telling.
See, now, she says Project 2025 at the very end, bro. Like, y'all should have brought that shit up sooner so he can elaborate on that. But y'all want to talk about Roe v. Wade and shit. And why did you pick fucking J.P. Vance as the vice president? Y'all should have asked that shit first. But that's what happens when you fucking run late. Y'all hoes need to be on time. What in the fuck is y'all doing, bro? What in the fuck, bro? What? No. That's what happens when you're late. We can close it out with this, though, folks. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to drain the swamp, so...
You grab that water like that, and you pick up some and you do like that. If that water wet, it's got gators in it. That's how you know they got gators in that water in Louisiana.
He's draining the swamp, fam. Get him the fuck out of here, fam. Drain the swamp, Trump. 2024, you will be sitting in that seat. And I know everything's regulated by the state. Thankfully, I was able to find me another gig, you know. So now, nigga, you two job. I ain't gonna say shorty, because that sounds like something that you would call a bitch, obviously. But 2 jobs, nigga. The fuck is you talking about? We making this paper. We getting back on the right fucking track. And hopefully, if he gets reelected, we won't have to deal with this chaos, this bullshit of having to find work, having to pay all these high-ass prices and costs for food and all that crazy-ass shit. Look, fam, everybody got their opinion. You vote for who you vote for. I ain't got nothing against you. You vote for Kamala, whatever. I'm clearly voting for this man because he got his head on straight. He's understanding that what's happening as a collective and not just looking at, oh, my race, he actually has policies in place to help everybody out, not just specifically black folks, not just specifically white folks. Y'all can say what he want about the police and all of that shit, bro, but at the end of the fucking day, this man is fair, just, and balanced. He has the right idea, and that's why he got my vote. Trump 2024. And what else they got to say?
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, very much. Great honor.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Well, there you have it. So, leave y'all thoughts in the comments. What y'all feel about this meeting with the NABJ, National Association of Black Journalists? Leave your thoughts in the comments, fam. And also check out MillerThyme.life for all of your holistic health product needs. Sea moss, smoothies, oil tinctures, herbal supplements. I got you, fam. Hit me up. Gonna get up out of here, fam. And until next time, y'all take care, folks. We out, folks. Check out the website. Order your holistic health supplements hit me up. If you're local, I deliver smoothies to you.
Miller Thyme.
CMOS, you're gonna have to buy that separate, you know what I'm saying? If you out of state, you're gonna have to buy that raw. But
so I need not say,
I got you,
the smack
Snap,
down
hit
on
me up,
your
let me know
goof
what you
ass,
need.
you don't bring
See
my
you next
payment.
time. Y'all
Say
take
you're
care, we got
looking
it.
for foundation, yeah. Can't be the case, bitch. You don't know your place, Nick. Unless it's Zodiacs. No need to go to that. I throw your facts. Think abstract. You just whack. You too old for that. Take accountability. It's some things you need to tweak. New lesson learning now. I got a topic every week.
Give a fuck about what your pop said. Yeah, bitch, shut your mouth. No, you roll like the Rock said. Don't give a fuck about what your pop said. Yeah, just shut your mouth. No, you roll like the Rock said. Don't give a fuck about what your pop said. Yeah, just shut your mouth.